Hey guys, Walker here. So today I'm going to be responding to Mike Winger, but this is mostly like nitpicking. I don't have any like serious qualms with what Mike says in this video. Hi Mike, if you're watching this. Unlikely, but hi. I have a great respect and admiration for Mike Winger. I think he's doing great work. I was originally turned on to his content by Leighton Flowers at Soteriology 101, and I think that Mike does really good research. He clearly reads extensively and studies these things thoroughly before he really gets into them. This was from a Q&A, this particular video that we're going to be responding to, where he talks about yoga pants and modesty. And if Mike Winger made a response video to someone like William Lane Craig or D.A. Carson or Wayne Grudem, where he nitpicked something that one of these men said, I think Mike would say that these are brilliant men, that clearly they are scholars among scholars, but maybe he had a little blind spot in this particular area and Mike wanted to make a response to it. So I'm going to say the same thing about Mike Winger. I think that overall his perspective on this is really good, but there's just one little thing I wanted to nitpick him on just real quick. So switching cameras here. Let's share the screen. Can I can do it. Sharing screen now. There we go. Let me enlarge this for the YouTube gods. Big as I can be. Okay. Now let's listen in to, what is it, 14 seconds of Mike Winger.
I am of the impression, okay, that the idea of wearing yoga pants in public, in large group gatherings, especially like a gathering where you just have a number of people that are there for, like, say, a church gathering, that is inappropriate. Okay, that's my opinion. Okay, maybe I'm wrong on that, but that is definitely, I'm persuaded of that, and I find it difficult to find a way around that.
So Mike feels that it's inappropriate for a woman to wear yoga pants. He doesn't say why. He doesn't give a basis for saying that yoga pants would be inappropriate to wear. I'm looking at my notes. I'm cheating a little bit. But it's unclear what he's basing this on. So let's watch another clip. We'll watch the rest of these clips and see if he finds a basis for this. We're going to skip ahead to right at the 4-minute mark.
There isn't a clear delineation of wear this, not that, cover this part, don't worry about that part. We don't have real clear stuff there.
Okay, so he's saying that the Bible doesn't have any specific modesty rules, not even minimum parts of the body that we should cover. Now that's significant. I think that's an important consideration to bring into the whole modesty discussion. If there are no specific rules in the Bible, though, then where does this rule about tight clothing like yoga pants come from? What's the basis for it, if not some clear rule in Scripture? Let's look at the next clip here.
Here's a principle I think we can apply, and it goes like this. If there's a part of your body that you don't want uncovered completely, then you probably don't want to wear clothing that completely follows the contours of your skin on that same area of your body.
Well, what if you do want it uncovered? Where are those lines where, okay, you can uncover this, but you can't uncover that, depending on what you want to be uncovered. Some of us are nudists, so we want everything to be uncovered. So where's that line? Why shouldn't we wear yoga pants? Why shouldn't we take our clothes off completely? Why do we need to have this rule? What's the basis?
Right, because the intention of covering is to obscure, and the intention of clothing that is tight fitting around those areas is to unobscure. It's to basically become second skin. So if you're wearing like second skin clothing, not just anywhere, not on your forearm, but on an area of the body that is intended to be covered to avoid immodesty or nakedness, then yeah, that would be inappropriate. That's what yoga pants seem to do, unless you cover them with a dress or something like that. And so I'm a prude in that I think I'm right here in that I think that even bikinis, even at the beach, are inappropriate. And men wearing Speedos, even at the beach, is an inappropriate piece of clothing.
So the intention, the purpose of clothing, I'm taking intention to mean purpose here. That kind of seems to be what he means by it. So the intention of clothing is to hide and conceal those parts of the body that are meant to be concealed. If you don't want it uncovered, don't put clinging clothing on it, because it's basically the same thing on a moral level. Well, the intention of yoga pants is to be comfortable. Yeah, women use them. Some women use them sometimes to get men's attention. But mostly yoga pants are just comfortable. No one wants to wear blue jeans or a dress while they get turned into a human pretzel in yoga class. There's a reason they're called yoga pants, and that's because they're skin tight and stretchy and breathable, and they're just super comfy to wear when you're working out, especially when you're getting all bent and out of shape in a yoga class. I think the same generally goes for running shorts and bikinis. Yeah, people can abuse those, but they are just generally comfortable. The reason they're running shorts is because they're really well adapted for running. They're also super comfortable. Same goes for bikinis. They're super comfortable, and they're practical. Now, as much as I like skinny dipping, I gotta think that bikinis are pretty comfy. The women that I've talked to who wear them say that they are really comfortable. And I asked one woman one time, okay, why the bikini over a one piece? Why is it that much more comfortable? And she said, well, a bikini is easier to take into the restroom. Okay, so, I mean, there are practical reasons to wear a two-piece over a one-piece. And like Mike already said, there aren't really clear lines on what we're supposed to cover or uncover in the Bible. So again, I'm wondering where this rule comes from that bikinis are inappropriate. Well, why? Why are they inappropriate? Because we've already said the Bible doesn't have a rule about it.
This is my own understanding of this, but I don't throw this on everybody else with a real strict judgment on there, because there's enough gray in it that I don't want to cause division over the topics.
I have a huge amount of respect for what Mike just said. I think that if we don't have a clear teaching in the Bible, we shouldn't put this kind of thing on other people. At that point, though, I think maybe Mike should consider correcting his language, because he isn't saying, I'm uncomfortable seeing bikinis on the beach. I'm uncomfortable seeing yoga pants in church. I'm uncomfortable with this. I'm uncomfortable with that. He's saying it is inappropriate. So it sounds like he's saying that he's not going to push us on everyone, but his language already kind of is doing that. So I get that maybe it's not what Mike means, but maybe he should consider correcting his language slightly. So if it is his own intuition, then again, we don't have any basis in hard biblical data. And if we don't have that kind of data, then why should we have this kind of rule? I don't understand what the basis would be and why we would have this rule in the first place. And he says parts of the body are intended to be covered. Now, granted, in this context, he could mean the parts of the body that are intended to be covered in American society. But based on the other clips that we're about to watch, I think that he's talking about kind of an objective moral standard, an objective, almost cosmic sort of, the body is meant XYZ in kind of a universal human sense. But granted, in this context, that we just listened to, maybe he means just for Americans, but I think it's unlikely. Oh yeah, so Mike spends a good bit of time here going over Romans chapter 14, and I'll just say that I agree with his interpretation. I think that his interpretation is spot on. And as a younger man who doesn't know as much about a lot of these biblical issues as Mike Winger does, I'll say that it was really comforting to know that someone who puts the amount of study into it as Mike does came to the same conclusion about Romans 14 as I did, which is essentially that making your brother stumble does not mean doing something your brother doesn't like. It doesn't mean doing something that causes your brother to think thoughts that might be inappropriate inside his head. The point of stumbling, causing your brother to stumble, is getting your Christian brother or sister to do something with you, the same thing that you're doing, even though that Christian brother or sister feels that it would be wrong to participate. So you're getting someone to participate, even though that person feels it would be wrong to participate. And that is causing someone to stumble. I wanted to call attention to that just real quick. I do agree with Mike's interpretation, so there's no reason to go over all that. We'll just skip ahead to after the Romans 4.
Yeah, yoga pants, basically clothing that's meant to be skin tight around the parts that are meant to be covered. That seems inherently wrong to me, and I would continue to say that until someone gives me a logical reason other than, well, everyone does it, Mike. In our culture, they all do it because the Bible frequently rips on whole cultures of people for being really messed up, and so we just can't use the principle of culture says it's okay.
Okay, so there it is again. Certain parts of the body are meant to be covered. And in this context, it seems fairly clear to me that he means on a universal sort of like for the entire human species, these are always wrong to uncover. So, therefore, any clothing that clings so tightly to these parts' shapes that they're, in essence, no longer hidden, that would be inappropriate. So, the little nugget I want to pull out from there is that certain parts of the body are intended to be covered, i.e. concealed. But where did we get that from? Again, we don't have biblical basis offered in this video for that rule. He's already said in one of the first things that we listened to from him that the Bible does not tell us what parts to cover and what parts to leave uncovered. There is no instruction on that score. So, in summary, I'm going to read from my notes here. So, in summary, Mike says some parts of the body are intended to be covered, some parts of the body are meant to be covered. Mike also says the Bible doesn't tell us which parts are meant to be covered. So he dances around it tactfully, but I think he means the chest area on women and the lower area on men and women, front and back. That whole kind of bathing suit area down below, and then the chest area for women. Now, I want to say, I do think Mike is right in saying the Bible has no clear rules on this. And I want to say that modesty is based on love and context. If what you're wearing is inconsiderate to the people around you, you should reconsider what you're wearing. For example, if you are a young woman and you're going to go to a pool party with a bunch of your woman friends, a bunch of your girlfriends, just wear a suit. If you're going to the same pool, but it's just going to be you and all the deacons from church, maybe don't wear the two-piece. Maybe wear a t-shirt over it. Maybe you should not even get in the water, depending on how you're going to impact the people around you. And I'm saying that as a nudist, someone who likes to skinny dip and stuff. But that does not mean that you should just be inconsiderate to the people around you. Case in point, I'm wearing clothes. Hey Mike, I wore this shirt. I'm wearing clothes because I want people to be able to see this video. I want people to be able to interact with these ideas. So I'm wearing something that I think Mike will be comfortable with so that we can dialogue about it. But if people around the person are well adjusted to whatever the person is wearing or not wearing, then that should be just fine. Modesty is about context and being considerate, not about the exact things that we're wearing or not wearing. Have I missed anything here? Well, it sounds to me like the best we can say from what Mike has said is that Mike is uncomfortable with these kinds of garments, yoga pants and bikinis and mankinis. That he's uncomfortable with them and that he feels weird about them on a moral level, that he feels this way, but I don't think that he has any biblical basis for it. And he's been open about the fact that he doesn't. I'm not saying that he's making some kind of false claim here. But what I would like to see is what are his exact modesty standards and what does he base those on? But the big question that I want to leave everybody with, this is my biggest question for people when it comes to nakedness and the Bible, modesty and the Bible. So just taking it to the most extreme example, Mike, nakedness. So in ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, Babylon, Syria, Africa, all these various cultures that existed around Israel in the Old and New Testaments. there was a lot of public nudity, especially in Egypt and Greece and Rome, and you're familiar with those things as someone who studies the historical context of things. So if these are cultures that are suffused with public nudity, how is it that the Torah never tells Israel, don't be naked in public, even though it tells them what shape to avoid when they trim their beards and how they should cut their hair, what kinds of fabrics they're not allowed to use, the certain tassels they're supposed to have on their garments, these little, almost nitpicky things, these really minute details that he lines out in the Torah, but it never comes up that you should make sure you're wearing clothes. It never comes up. Not in the Torah, not in the rest of the Old Testament, not in the Gospels or the Epistles or the whole New Testament. It's not there. So if this is wrong, if it would be wrong for people to be naked in mixed company, like nudists, then isn't it odd that the Bible doesn't mention that? That's it for today. Mike, I don't know if you're ever going to watch this, but if you did, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, lovely viewer, all the rest of you for watching, and I hope you got something out of it, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, I am editing this video while my children are asleep, so the lights are off, my voice is quiet, but just pretend like it's all the same. I want to encourage all of you to go and watch Mike's entire answer to the question, so you get all the ideas in context. The reason why I split it into a bunch of little clips was not to decontextualize what Mike says. I think that I did a decent job putting the clips together and making sense of them according to the original context, but I'd encourage you to go and double check me and make sure that I got all the right understanding from the full context of what Mike said in his video. And I just generally think you should go check out Mike's channel. It is one of, maybe the best, one of the best, it's up there, one of the best Christian YouTube channels that there is out there. I don't even know what his subscriber count is, and it doesn't matter. He's just got really good stuff, and you should go check it out.